Hello and welcome everybody. This is Mechanical Gamer here, and welcome to episode 10 of our Let's Play live stream Satisfactory. We are going to continue where we left off last time, and I know it's been about a week or so because I've been a bit busy with a few things. So I've had to take some time off from the streaming life. But if I remember correctly, we left off, we were getting ready to set up a factory primarily for building modular frames. So we're gonna do that today. We're gonna set up our okay, we didn't fall to death. Good. Set up our lines and get everything in place. So this lower deck you see here is gonna be our logistics floor for this facility. And then up here on the next deck, this is mostly gonna be our processing for ores. So we'll be sending all of our iron into here, processing them into iron ingots. And then we'll have another deck up higher, maybe 5 or 6 up. That will be for producing some of the more basic components. Well, let's take a look, see what we got in our inventory. So we got plenty of concrete. That's perfect. That's what we're going to need to do what we're going to do here. And for those of you who haven't caught up in a while, we have this freeway that gets us to and from our main base, which is, as you can see, over there somewhere, kind of a ways away. But let's get started here. So we're going to go into our blueprints. We're going to grab our smelter 12X line. And we want it to be arranged where everything is heading in that direction for expansion. Like we might even have enough space here that we could do. Actually, I think we might change up the battle plant just a little bit. And we'll do a lot of this down here on this floor because honestly, we have the capacity to do that. So this is going to be iron ingot. We're going to control C, and then we'll control V to the rest of these. There really is no point in having to open them up and copy them individually. So yes, these blueprints you see here, the one that we just put in, this makes things a lot easier. As you could tell, we basically have a production line that we don't have to sit there and spend God knows who knows how long setting that up. We just go to town. So let's take a look. So I think these are producing 30 each. Remember correctly, yes they are. So there's 6 here. That's 180. If I'm correct, if my math's right, 30, so 60. Yeah, so we have 180 per side, so 360 total. So we won't need those for a while. But we do need to get a functioning stairway down to the ground level. Basically an access point that allows for us to bring the materials from down there up to here with ease. And we're probably also going to utilize these guys as well. Like I said, we got 5 nodes here, 3 normals, 2 impures. I'm really not the biggest fan of impure nodes, but we do need to use them up. And if I remember correctly, I believe we have Mark II miners unlocked. But we just got to get a few things building, and this is one of those items. This and industrial encased beam are required to build They are requirements to build that equipment, so we have to do that. So this road is going to go through. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a substrate to build with for now. So this is going to allow for us to put down the walls that we need. Get rid of what we don't need, which is the floor. So now, yes, we got this wall floating in space. Did we even manage to barely miss the node down there? Okay, so let's grab our pathing now. And we're going to start here. This is where we're going to put our entrance for this level. This level will require an entrance too. So we got to go down. So this is going to be a bit of an interesting one because of the setup. That didn't turn out right. Oh, it's this one that's wrong. Actually, we'll get rid of this and this. Okay, so this will put us on the level of this path. You see we got that there, so we're going to have to make some arrangements to make it work properly. And since this is outside of our bounding box, we'll just leave this guy open because it's not going to look good if we don't. Okay. And of course, very much like we had over there, we're going to have the wall running down here. This is going to be a tube. Eventually we'll put glass in here, but first things first, we have to get that far. We have to actually get... We have the technology for some glass, but we need to get the materials. So we do need to get the proper path for these 3 sections because we don't want accidents to happen. So the proper one is this one. So that way we have the rail around it, kind of conforms with our style. Now this is just going to get up to the road deck. I don't know, there might be another building at this location later on that allows for us to go higher with this. But there will be a main stairway as well within the facility we're building. So now we're starting to drop below the but we are going to want to put some foundation down here. We'll do that as we get closer down. Right now we're still relatively high up. Of course, we do have this tree we're going to need to cut down. So we basically now have reached the lowest level of this particular tower. Down here, it should be pretty dark. Get rid of the vegetation. going to do area clear cutting. Get rid of the trees. So we know that this side over here, there's a mine site, so we're not going to go out that way. We will go out this one. And we're going to come out too. This is where we're going to build our ground. Basically, this is to our ground level, so you can see now just how high up we are over there. We built basically above everything, which means we have all the space in the world to work. But now we have a way up and down so that we can continue the work down here. So I'm going to put a door in up here. We'll do the same here. And the same here. For now, we're going to cap these off with these same side rails that we have down here, because we do not have we don't have a purpose to not do that, so is Zoop not selected? Things are going to get incredibly dark in here now, or at least they should if my settings are right. So if I turn my light off, they don't get that dark. So the illumination setting not working the way it should right now. Let me take a look and see what's going on. Yeah, because it should be somewhat really dark in here because this is an unlighted space. Let's chip these away. Get this prepared for being a production platform. or actually prepared for the mining platforms that will be for production. I do have the miners. And let's take a look. Do we have miner Mark II? We do. So take a look. Yeah, see, like I said, we need the frames and we need the box beam and the encased industrial beams. For now, we're going to do all 3 of these. We're going to put them on a platform like we always do. Right now, we'll start with actually just 2. I don't know if we're going to be able to go all the way to the ceiling. That's what I thought was going to happen. We're going to be just shy of it. I think that's where the floor hole needs to be. And we are going to have this guy run that way up and along. Okay. So we have designed these facilities with the idea of materials return back the same direction they exit, that they enter, so that way these lines are easily expandable. There's that. Big question is do we have enough steel to do this? So we're getting our placements in now. We're gonna have to make a steel trip. Luckily, we're down on the ground level now. So let's go get some more steel real quick. Steel factory's not too far away. Can I access this? Yes, good, because we're going to be shipping that up too. We're going to have a main concrete factory probably up above at some point. I'm going the wrong way. That's our steel pipe. I believe there's some limestone here. There is. I don't know the quality of it. Impure. This is one of the biggest problems with this part of the map. There's a lot of impure nodes throughout the grassland. One of the reasons why we went over where we did to start, because those are some pure nodes. Take a look. This is an impure. That's an impure. That's a dead hog. This is an impure. It's not far from that location. It's one of the reasons why grassy fields, it's a great starter if you're just getting started and you're new to the game. But if you're more advanced and you want lots of material fast, you will be looking for those pure nodes. Northern Forest has got a good section of them. The Dune Desert's got some good ones. So we're going to get this hooked up to power now. So our breaker room's going to be right in here. This is where we're going to bring this power. This will probably be our mains power in. Will be right in this area here. This area will be reserved, of course, for our stairway. Not needed. But we'll have our main power coming in right here. We can signify that on a breaker in the future. This entire facility. Yes, we do want this to be on that breaker system. I've unlocked the roof floor puts. I've got the double wall. Now, some of these are going to go to upper floors, and they're going to control lights, so we'll just put them on every central square. So now we've got everything that's needed here on one grid. It's 58 megawatts. Our next production line, steel plate. We'll do steel plates here. Next to it will be, iron plates will be next to it, and iron rods, and then we'll do the reinforced iron plate. Then we'll do actually screws will be next, then reinforced iron plate. All right, so blueprints. Want the 8X constructor assembly set. And you can see we're out of material, so we're gonna have to make a trip back over to the main. Pick up some steel plate. Some iron plate. Excuse me, I don't know why I keep calling it steel plate. There is no such thing in this game. Yeah, building this factory will also check off one of our to-dos. Which we haven't done one of those in a while. We've been busy doing some side quests. Like, for instance, putting in this highway. but we would like to have everything connected to our highway system to allow for easy logistics later on. Even though we may not use the highway system for logistics, we may end up using rail. But that's something to be determined at a later time. Take a look. We need to go up higher. This is the level we need to be at. Iron plates over here. We have 4. We don't need concrete. We do need to drop off those materials over at the from the tree over at the biomass fuel plant. Side with the leaves. And we should turn that iron ore into something more useful. We're still collecting concrete like no one's business. So we've actually used a great deal of it in the construction of the highway and the platform over there. Looks at our steel plate. Let's check on things over here real quick. The wire in. Let's take care of the parts that we've got. Okay, so now we're just looking for the modular frames, which, by the way, we are going to want those delivered from our production facility. So we're going to wait on those until we start producing them. We do need 200 of them. This production is full. This production's full. Let's drop another 2 containers up. So that way we can keep producing these, because like I said, we're going to need to stockpile a good number of these for other future projects. Mark III. Upgrade these lifts to Mark III. Yes, this will reduce our ticket count, but our tickets aren't as important as our other techs, or as our ability to store up some of those more expensive components. Just to make that look a little bit better. The same thing to this one too. Yes, we ran these through before we had research for those. At some point, yes, we're going to be putting elevators in, but right now, we don't have a silica a base of operations for our silica mine, which is really what's required to do that. So that's why we're holding off on an elevator in this facility. There'll be elevators in the other facilities as well. Since we have enough steel beam to do this, we might as well. And we might be wanting to upgrade our steel here pretty soon, our steel mill too, pretty soon. All right. So, yeah, we could definitely do an upgrade now if we want to, but first we have to upgrade upstairs. But to tell you the truth, we shouldn't be super concerned with doing those upgrades until we actually have the ability to process 240, which is not going to happen until we start building our next level miners, which we will upgrade these ones too. Okay, so we've got everything upgraded now. Let's do this side now. First things first, we should probably make sure we've done the rod. Okay, so we've now, looks like we've pretty much completed rod upgrades. Yes, we've done the rod upgrades. These are fully upgraded on this side. How about over here? They are over there as well. So we've now fully upgraded our screw facility. So let's start in the back like we always do. Work our way forward. Let's take a look and see if this has been fully upgraded. I believe this one has. And yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing here. We're seeing the upgrades. It looks like they stop probably. Yeah, they stop somewhere in here. Okay, perfect. So they stop at a point where it means we need to upgrade we're now upgrading the ingot lines. Now we're into the ore section of it. We're preparing ourselves for what is to come. But now we do really need to get back over to our primary objective. I mean, we've upgraded everything to level 3 now. So let's take a look. Actually, let's take a look at what we got. I got a lot of reinforced iron plate that we need to recycle. I'm gonna keep one of these. The rest of it can all be recycled. How are we looking on steel? We're gonna need to get some more steel. All right. All right, so we should have all the materials we need for now, for a little while at least, to build what we need to build. So the first one we're going to have is iron plates. And at some point, we're going to do a second one of these as well. So maybe we should do that second set. Actually, no, we'll just keep it as one. This factory will expand it as we bring more materials this way. So structure line 8X. Okay, so we always inlay these ones in one step further in. Boom, there's that guy. So this will be our steel plate line. Out of wire. We're gonna have to go back. That's interesting. I didn't see that. Now we're up to 90 megawatts of energy for this facility when running at full tilt. Yeah, putting in this highway has made our trip time back to the main so much faster. We are going to utilize this as much as we can. But like I said as well, we're going to continue this highway on out to the steel factories. And then we'll probably start working on building it toward the nearest quartz mine. Because we're going to need quartz as well. Especially when we start getting to aluminum production later on. But that's not for a ways. That's not till tier 7. Cable. So what else do we need? Okay, I can recycle a few more of these. Maybe 2 more, 1 or 2 more. Actually, I'll recycle them later. I don't know how much I'm going to need of that. So let's take a look at that blueprint again. Only 4 concrete in the entire print. It's steel. We're going to need to get some steel beam. We're going to need a couple more of them so we have to make the trip on foot to that guy. To collect that at some point. Yeah, so our quartz mine is somewhere up over in that general direction over there. Oh, steel. For him to collect it? Drop the rubber off in the truck. Not going to use that anyway for a while. Drop that off, put that in there. We'll put our shards in there for safekeeping, and we'll put the hog meat. And also, I can think if I really don't need in my inventory, put these two. Better idea. Why am I... Take the straightest path over there. We have to take the long way home, but we'll be able to glide a good chunk of the way. I hear spiders. Yeah, that's what I was hearing, all right. Two of them, wow. Already got the steel, so we'll just head that way directly. There was a hog over there, but as long as he doesn't bug us, we won't bug him. He ain't gonna be able to catch up to us anyway. Hogs have a hard time keeping up with those who have blade runners, except for the nuclear hog. He won't have any issue keeping up with you. Keep that in mind, guys. Playing the game and all of a sudden you got a nuclear hog on your hands. Don't engage him. Unless you have a cliff nearby to run off of and run away. Nuclear hog will. This is too close? Oh, geez, that is like perfectly close. This will be iron rods. So each of these will have a container for storage for extras. That container will be placed in here. With the exception, of course, this will not have a container. Not there. We're gonna do a merger. That one's right. What about this one? This one's wrong. We'll drop it down like so. And I think this one here, we won't put the containers in right away, not until we get enough production to supply them. I think about it because it's like, why am I going to need those? The containers are going to be secondary until we can get a smart splitter in place, which we will have to do eventually. So we'll have this one go down here. We'll have it merge over here. And we'll do the same thing with this one here. We'll have its merge be right here. Make them nice and in line with each other if I can. Go. to drop down the floor, of course, right here. That puts us underground with these, which is perfect because now we know we got our steel, got our iron plates, we got our iron rods. We're gonna do a set of screws right here, and then of course we'll go a little bit further away to put the production of things for the other productions. So the other primary productions, we need two. Excuse me. What are the other ones again? Reinforced iron plates are needed for this production, and then of course the modular frames themselves. Yep, so we might have a second floor on this factory. Or better yet, maybe I should do the production factory across the way. Like over here. Nah, we'll think about that later. For now, I think we're in good shape. Where exactly is that in relation to those holes? One in. Means this isn't right. Fix it. Okay, there's a build across. We need to get the power hooked up to this guy. That's going to put us well over 100, probably up 154 now. So we know we got to split the screws. And we have to split the ingots. Those two things we know for a fact we're going to have to split. But right now, our biggest focus is on just getting this production facility up and running. So right now we are ready to rock and roll with the ingot line. It's connected, but the rest of these are not. So now we need to go and make sure that we've got our downward conveyors, our upward and downward conveyors. And then get down there and get all the pipe, get all the tube, get all the proper plumbing in place. He did this again. We're gonna have to go fix that. Going down too far. Not going ground level. Okay, so go take a look and see what we got here. So this guy here is our input. The first thing we're going to drop here is we're going to drop a merger, then a splitter. Actually, we'll drop the merger in after the first splitter. Because when the time comes, so let's drop these guys down. So these are the first inputs. This is the steel or the iron plate. This is the iron rod. This guy over here screws. I got this wrong. These are inputs. Those are outputs. These are the inputs. Of course, we're going to drop a merger right here. And that merger is there just in case we expand the It's actually not just in case. It's just if we decide to expand our iron mine, our iron production over there, which we will have to, I believe, we're going to need a second input. To feed everything. So, yeah. Okay, so this is our steel. And the ones that need the splitters, we'll have them come all the way down to the ground. And the reason why this one's got a splitter, guys, is that some of those rods have to be diverted over for the construction of the frame of the modular frames themselves. All right, so technically we could open up the line. We could technically open up the line now if we wanted to. But we won't because we're not ready for that. We are still missing a few things. Primarily the product that we're going to be building. So we need to get back upstairs and get that in place before we turn this entire facility on. If I could do that in the next half hour before I decide to cut the episode, I'm going to do that right around 2 hours this time. That'd be great. So we used constructors for the last one. This one's an assembler plant. Yeah, it's an assembler plant. So our assembler lines are done a bit differently, and you can see we've got 1 and 2, so we'll be able to fit these no problem. Both of these in here back to back. But I need to use the restroom real quick, so I will be back. All right. So let's get these placed. And we're going to place them on the same line as these guys. So like I said, we're going to split these a bit further apart. And I'm just off a little bit. I fixed that. Well, that's perfect. We can actually build everything on the same line here. We don't have to go that far. I'm going to want another set of these for this one. So, at some point we should be able to... Okay, that's off. We got to fix it. We are trying our best to not let things get off like that because it screws everything up. And we don't want to walk. And we really don't want things our assembly lines walking over into a wall. That's better. So this line will be the reinforced iron plate. Excuse me, not the iron plate, excuse me. Modular frame. It needs iron plates and it needs iron rods to do so. It gets that in place. There's the power. This one will be our reinforced iron plate line. Let's take a look here. What is this needing? Just plates and rods? Okay, so all of the screws are going to go here. And this one just needs iron plate and screws. Something wrong here. Oh, it's just me. It's this one's further in. The storage container for this will be right over here. We're going to do 2 double stacks. We're actually going to have it feed back down. Because all of these resources are going to feed up through floor holes. Okay. Let's get these hooked up, and then we can actually hook this facility up to power. Oh, we need to hook that up to power too first. So how much are we got here? And of course, we can't forget our floor hole stuff. This is going the right way, right? That's a problem. That's our inputs. They're running backwards. We're going to have to flip these around. Means all three of these prints are backwards, so let's take care of that, because that's not going to fly. Kind of stinks we have to do that, but when you make that kind of mistake and we catch it, fix it right away. That way everything's flowing the right way. That is important. Materials flow the right way through these production facilities. That way we guarantee that we can expand it. That we can continue down this floor. Build more. And I feel like a fool because this is off. That makes me feel like a fool. It is supposed to be direct. This is supposed to be directly on the line. There's that. Let's go connect the back end. That way everything flows out the way it's supposed to. And I think honestly we'll upgrade that over there when we get the tier 4 belt. So we need a splitter on this end. Really? That's a problem with the blueprint. We're gonna have to fix it. Oh yeah, that's a problem with the blueprint. These are backwards. So we're gonna have to fix this blueprint. So make a note of that. I'll take care of that before I get off tonight. So we'll go do that after we get these in. Because the thing is, the idea of a blueprint, guys, is you don't have to really do much placement of materials. This is a lot of work that we have to do right here if it's just every time. So we're going to fix the print, make it right. Okay. Now that's working the correct direction. We could put our splitter in here. And this splitter is at the end of the line. Because any and all materials that come out of here that are extras are going to get shredded. And you can see this is how you know this is in the right direction, because I have this one below, this one in front. This allows for stacking. But once these are hooked up, we'll be able to turn this factory on and let it start producing parts. All right. So let's put in our awesome sink right here. For now, we'll let it shred half of them. But in the future, of course, that's going to actually... Right now, we don't need it right now. No, no, no. Let's not waste these. These are going to be hard enough to build as it is, so... Yeah. So let's take a look here. So we know we're going to need... This one here is going to need... That's going to have to come over to this one right here. So that's what I'm going to do with that one. This one will be the iron rod supply. Screws. How many screws are we going to need? We're going to need 60, so 180. So screws on the bottom. Plates on the top. Okay. That guy. Oh man, the stupid ray is gonna go right through our factory. Oh well. I know the rods are down here. Split off of the rods, so this is the split off of the rods. Okay, so there's our rods input. Steel plate is the front one. Screws is this one. Bring that one over here. Okay, we gotta turn that mode off. It's not working today. Curve mode. Okay, so that right there hooks everything up. This factory can now start work. Let's put it to work. We got to make sure everything's working properly. Like I said, this is going to be the breaker room. So for now, we'll have this pole here. And now we're going to see that significantly small jump in power. Here, our miners are now turning down there. They're green. Comes the first of that material coming up. We need to overclock those. Yes, we do. I want 240 out of them, not 120. Geronimo. Doubling their output. That'll give us 240 up there on the surface, up high. Let's get back up to the top and make sure that all the equipment is working right up here. Of course, we don't see anything over here yet. Honestly, no surprises there. Okay, we're hearing these machines running. And we're seeing iron plate come off this line. We're seeing iron rods on this line. We're seeing screws here. Well, that's going to be a problem. That's why we check these things. Got to power these up. Okay, we're seeing some iron plate. We're seeing screws. So what we're looking for is the products to arrive over there now. We haven't even built the first reinforced iron plate yet. This should be able to put out 15. I believe it's 2 a minute that are needed over here. Take a look at anything arrived. Ooh, check that out. These are not programmed. So we should be seeing iron rod make their way out here. The fact that we're not is concerning. So I need to go downstairs and have a look at what's going on. Well, there's the problem. Let's see if that... Yep, there we go. Now, this is not going to produce it at high speeds. But once the first modular frames make their way into our buckets over here, then we have successfully set up the modular frame line, and we could check that off and start working toward these other two techs. And then, yes, we're going to have to do some sort of logistics shipment. So, yes, there will be logistics on our highway to get the products from here over to there. Have we even produced the first yet? We haven't. So, drop the iron rods into here. Honestly, I don't know why I did that. I'm taking them. I'll get more from the base. I picked them up, so that kind of stopped the production. Wow. And we got the first two, so that means checkbox this guy. We have a modular frame line that we've been needing for a long time. So I'm going to add an objective here. Okay? Because it's something that we need to think is on the list of things that we're doing. Okay, we're taking a ride. And the objective that we need here is... highway to steel factories. And then another objective. For the next episode that we'll probably start looking at is yeah, we're taking a ride, guys, on the manta ray. So the next one we're going to want to look at is AI limiters. Okay. And then, of course, okay, we can't forget this as well. You have to have this backslash, otherwise it doesn't know where the end of the line is. Highway to courts. And of course, the last one, quartz production. Quartz line. So the quartz line is both a silica and a quartz crystal, but we will worry about those in the coming episodes. Okay, let's fix that real quick. We'll give this guy a pet. Then we're going to jump right back on over to our factory. And yes, at some point we're going to want to optimize this factory, that we're getting the full amount of frames out of it. Like I said, this thing needs 3, so 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. We got 6. So we have an extra one. But so far we've already produced 14 of our required. We're going to head back over to the main factory. It is there that we probably will call the episode, because we'll be at our 2-hour limit. So let's get our vehicle back on over that way. And once the quartz factory's in, we're going to start looking at some facades for these to make these into buildings, some walls. Right now we kind of are just sitting out here, not doing any walls or anything like that. That's primarily due to the fact that we don't really have glass. And glass is one of the primary building materials that we want to use in our walls, for our walls and stuff like that. But the silica line, that's primarily going to be put in use because we need elevators. And like I said, a few other resources. And it's a great, it really is a great, recyclable. But when we start on the next episode, we'll continue working toward these power infrastructure and hypertubes. We'll be checking in with our modular frame production to grab those, to get those technologies. We're probably also going to set up a line for industrial encased beam, because that's going to be needed, and we're going to need a lot of that. So we're going to have several... definitely going to have several, for that? Several containers, 2 double containers, probably I'd say at least probably 6 because it's 100 per stack. And we're going to need a lot of that because everything that you see here that's tier 3 built can be upgraded to tier 4 at some point. Or at least the ones that need to be upgraded to tier 4 will be upgraded to tier 4. And that, of course, will require a little bit of work. So let's go put these in here. Here. And yeah, guys, that pretty much will cover it tonight. Cover for today. So on the next episode, we will begin working on those other 2 objectives. But for now, we are going to pop these guys off. And actually, to tell you the truth, I'm going to put above these because this is important. We're going to put the encased industrial beam on there. That way we don't forget. Let's get rid of that comma. Because that is a very important staple in our factory. I said we're going to need a lot of it, so we're going to want to get that up and running pronto. And as you can see, this technology that we had here required it. And that's because it's expanded power, of course. But hypertubes requires it too. So yeah, we're going to need that. And then of course, once we get to phase 2, Logistics Mark 4 encased industrial beams are used to produce or to build Mark 4 belts. And if we have a lot of that already in stock, then we can upgrade our belt and lifters and start using Mark 4 instead of Mark 3. But otherwise, guys, that is it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as I have. And I will see you all on the next one. And I wish you all a pleasant day. Bye now.